All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Akeen, and welcome to today's vlog. Here to talk about Week 6 of the 2014 college football season. I'm here to talk about my key matches and my predictions for Week 6 for all the key matches. Now, I'm going to start with the first game. Tonight's matchup between number 2 Oregon hosting Arizona. Both these two teams are undefeated. Two of the three remaining teams of the Pac-12 conference who are still undefeated. The third team is UCLA. Now, let's first talk about Arizona. Now, this team has a three-headed monster in the offensive side, headed by quarterback Anu Solomon, who is just a freshman, and they also have a good freshman running back in Nick Wilson. And last but certainly not least, their sophomore wide receiver who's leading the team, Caleb Jones. Now, I think this is a young, explosive offense, a couple of young guns, and I think they could become a good future and a big team to watch in later seasons in college football, and even possibly today. This is a very dangerous team. Now, for Oregon, they're headed by Heisman frontrunner Marcus Mariota, but things might change in this matchup because both these two teams have high-power offenses, but their defense is much in question mark, particularly for Arizona State. For Arizona, who allows 27 points per game compared to 21 from Oregon State. Now, last week against Washington State, the Oregon secondary struggled against the physicality of Washington State, and Caleb Jones is a physical player as just a sophomore, and I think the Oregon Ducks is going to be in a rude awakening in this one. But I'm still going to go with Oregon in this pick because the X factor is that the game is at Eugene, and that crowd is going to have to energize the team and keep the team pumped up. Also, Oregon's going to have to go back to that Michigan game in which they're going to have to play more physical in order to win. They came off with the escape last week at Washington State 38-31, but I still think they're going to bounce back and regroup this week and beat the Wildcats in this matchup. Second game we need to talk about, number 6 Texas A&M at number 12 Mississippi State. This is another upset alert, but I'm still going to go with the Aggies in this one, despite the fact that their defense struggled against the run last week against Arkansas, and Mississippi State is definitely, and Dan Mullen is definitely kept an eye on that and looking to develop a good ground attack against this Aggie defense. And Mississippi State is actually ranked in the top 20 and running the football. Dak Prescott is at quarterback. He came off of a spectacular performance against LSU, and I think this could be a good upset, but I'm going to have to still go with Kenny Hill in this one because at the end of that LSU game, LSU got the ball rolling a little bit and throwing the football when Brandon Harris was under center at quarterback. And I think because of Kenny Hill, such a better quarterback and a phenomenal athlete throwing the football, I'm going to have to go with the Aggies in this one. Next game, Maryland's going to be hosting number 20 Ohio State. Now, Maryland's actually starting off the season pretty well. Their first Big Ten win last week against Indiana. But I think that the offense for Ohio State is going to be a little bit too much for the defense for Maryland because JT Barrett actually came off a good week last week, and he's actually getting more of a rhythm at quarterback for Ohio State. I'm going to have to go with the Buckeyes over the Terps. Next game, a Conference USA matchup, and a matchup I decided to call out this week, Marshall at Old Dominion. Now, this is going to be a dual battle between quarterbacks Rakeem Cato of Marshall and Taylor Heineke out of Old Dominion. Good prospects for the 2015 NFL Draft. Now, for this one, if you look things on paper, Marshall has the better defense, so I'm going to have to go with the Thunder and Herd over the Old Dominion. This is going to be a good game for you guys to watch in Conference USA. Next game we need to talk about is between number 25 TCU hosting number 4 Oklahoma. Now, this game, ladies and gentlemen, is my upset game of the week. The Horned Frogs is only allowing 7 points per game, and with a great dominant performance over Minnesota and stopping running back David Cobb, they're going to focus more on stopping the run for Oklahoma and putting the balls in the hands of Travis Knight and throwing the football. Travis Knight is still a good quarterback, but he's been struggling a little bit this year in throwing the football. I think that TCU's defense is going to be able to edge them enough to pull off the upset. Next game we need to talk about, Texas, my Longhorns, is hosting number 7 Baylor. Now, last season, Baylor beat Texas to win the Big 12 championship and make it to the Fiesta Bowl, and I don't really see too much of a difference this game. Texas did come off their first Big 12 win against Kansas, but it's against Kansas. It's really nothing to brag about in that matchup, and I think that Baylor's offense led by Bryce Petty is just going to emerge and just have a big game over my Longhorns. I'm being honest here. Next game we need to talk about, number 14 Stanford at number 9 Notre Dame. Now, for the past couple of seasons, these two teams have been duking it out in battles, but I'm going to have to go with Stanford this year because of their defense. Their offense still needs some work to cut out for them, but their defense is keeping their team in the game game, and their defense also can commit some turnovers. I think that Everson Golson is a great quarterback, but he's not going to play good enough to beat Stanford. I'm going to have to go with Stanford pulling off another upset at Notre Dame. Next game could be another upset alert. Number 5 Auburn hosting number 15 LSU. Now LSU almost came from behind last week against Mississippi State, and they're looking to do the same and play a good game against Auburn. But I'm going to have to go with the Tigers in this matchup because their offense did struggle against Kansas State, but I like the performance on the defense against Kansas State at Manhattan. And with having a good homecoming game against a good LSU team, I think that the offense is going to get everything together and running the football as well as throwing the football. Nick Marshall did throw for a couple of touchdown passes, throwing the football as opposed to being more of a running quarterback. He did a great job throwing, and I think that he's going to do enough of the job to escape with a close victory. This is still going to be a close game, but I'm going to have to go with Auburn over LSU. Next game, number 16 USC hosting unranked Arizona State. Now Arizona State can pull this upset, but I have to go with the Trojans in this one because they've been quietly looking good this year, especially with Cody Kessler at the helm at quarterback. He's been doing a good job and throwing it to all of his receivers, and he has a good weapon behind him and Javaris Allen at running back. Next game is another upset I need to talk about. Number 19 Nebraska is going to be traveling to East Lansing to face number 10 Michigan State. Now Nebraska has a great running back in Amir Abdullah, and I'm telling you guys right now, if he has a big performance against that Michigan State defense, he will be my front runner for this year's Heisman and so far in this season. Now Michigan State has a phenomenal defense, but their offense has not really been showing me too much with Connor Cook at quarterback. Connor Cook has a lot to prove, in my opinion, in order to boost up his draft status for 2015's NFL draft. He's a little bit off of my radar for the past couple of weeks, but hopefully he can get things together. But I'm still going to have to go with the Cornhuskers pulling off the upset at East Lansing. And last but not least, number 8 UCLA, coming off of a big win last week against Arizona State, will host Utah. Utah is 3-1 this season, and this could be another upset alert. But I think that that Brent Hundley got the offense in rhythm, got them energized off of a big win on the road at Tempe, Arizona, by the way. And I think this is going to be a good homecoming game for UCLA. I think they're going to pull off the home victory over Utah. Now that wraps things up with some of my key matches. I still have one match in to talk about, my game of the week. Now I'm not going to talk about it today. The next time I will catch you guys will be tomorrow, where I will give you all the keys to victory for my game of the week between number 3 Alabama against number 11 Ole Miss. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching today's blog from the Football Source. I'm your man Keenan McCall. Be easy.